two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Open up your eye. Oh, shit.
Go ahead, Brandon. Start it again. No. The listener shall not be denied.
All
Go
right.
on, Brandon.
Hey, everybody. Listen up. This is Eddie Collins.
Guys, it's just Brown.
And we are Meeting Popcorn Niggas Spoiling Movies. And today we have a special treat. Our first ever fan guest. Because we've had fans pop up on the show during Zoom movie nights, but this is our official full episode with our guest, Sean C. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How about yourself?
We're good, man. We're good.
Living the dream, baby.
But yeah, we're living a dream and nightmares at the same time, depending on what movie we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
This was a little bit of both. Sin City, what made you choose this movie for us to talk about?
When I first seen that movie, I thought it was groundbreaking. I thought it was amazing. You know, I think 300 kind of like lined me up for that movie. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that.
So, you know, I was blown away by it, you know.
Okay. Yeah, and that's also the 300 was Frank Miller as well, right?
Mm-hmm. I think he just produced it. He ain't write it though.
Yeah. But I mean, the comic. I'm thinking about the comic.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But before we get to Sin City, because I remember seeing this opening weekend, I remember the trailer, and one of our Patriots actually shouted out the trailer and the Servant Cells song that was like crazy because that's back when you had to like go on Alta Vista or some shit and find out songs and stuff. But Sean, like, what made you a fan of Media and Popcorn? Because, you know, Justin and I, we're always baffled when people say they're fans of us because we're like, we're out of our fucking mind.
That's what makes it great. It's like y'all really yourselves. You know, crazy, awkward, insane. I love
it. Yeah, we are crazy, awkward, and insane.
Yep. That's fair. How'd you find out about the show?
I'm not sure. I'm for real. I can't even remember how I found you guys' show. Just one day, you know, I was listening to, you know, review a movie, and then y'all was saying wild stuff, and I was like, okay, and I was hooked after that.
Damn, that could be any episode.
Yeah,
I've been listening to you for at least 5 or 6 years. So,
so you've been since the beginning almost.
Yeah, almost
the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
wait. Did we have the Medium Popcorn theme that we have now yet?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm getting old, man. All the years, everything just blurring together now.
It's all good. I think we only had like 3 or 4 episodes before we came up with the theme song. So that would be like real old school if you had like started listening then.
Well, you know what? Back then we were also doing once every 2 weeks too.
Yeah.
We were a bi-weekly show.
I know, like once I started listening to old episodes, I started going back. So it might not be right at the beginning, but it's been a while.
Well, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you.
Indeed.
And you know, I've been wanting to do this movie on the podcast for a while. Just because like you, Sean, I did think it was groundbreaking at the time, especially the way that Robert Rodriguez shoots the shots and stuff. Because essentially he did what Zack Snyder ended up doing with the Army of the Dead, where he was putting motherfuckers in scenes that never met each other. And that was pretty much this whole fucking movie. Like Elijah Wood and Mickey Rourke never met each other, even though they shared a lot of scenes in that third part of that Marv story. I also forgot that Mickey Rourke, this is part of like his comeback, and he like completely he really fucked that up, did he? He was like in everything for a moment. It was like The Wrestler. He did this. He did Iron Man 2, and then it just ended Expendables, and then everyone was just like, "Yeah, this dude is crazy. Like we can't work with him anymore."
I think he liked this movie too much. Like I feel like he tried to make himself look like Marv in real life. Like he was like, "I want to like Marv all the time."
Oh yeah, I mean that was a crazy character.
Mickey Rourke. Oh boy. I feel like I'm trying not to be too mean, but he really kind of looks like a melted fucking candle. Like, I don't know what's going on with him.
Crazy. It's crazy because have you ever seen the movies he did in the 80s before he did all the plastic surgery and became a boxer and shit? He was a good dude.
Handsome guy.
What the fuck happened? I mean, he's clearly cuckoo bananas. Like, that's very obvious. That's why Marv is like the perfect role for him, even more so than the Ram, the wrestler dude in the movie. Like, this is perfect. Even though I will say the graphics don't hold up as much as I thought they might. Even though it's shot in black and white, but some of the shots are beautiful in this.
Oh, no. I think especially how they utilize the black and white and then dropping that color in there, like the red and things like that with Goldie and things. So there's aspects of this. I'm just like, oh, this is like fucking absolutely stunning. And like watching this on like on a big screen, like a 77-inch LED OLED in your living room,
Way to tell people what you got so they can rob you.
have to stunt on niggas sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it really pops. It really pops. And like thinking about it, I'm like, oh man, I wish I saw this in a theater.
Oh, you didn't see this in the theater when it came out?
No, I didn't see this in the theater. No.
Oh, I saw this opening night. I remember like because I was mad hyped because of the trailer. You saw it opening night too, Sean?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, because this is exciting. I remember because like I think Robert Rodriguez was coming off of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. And so he had a lot of heat. Spy Kids had already come out. And this just looked different than anything you had seen for a long time. Like this was like crime noir, but like in a comic book style and black and white. But this look was only like a time capsule for this shit because The Spirit, which you reviewed, Justin, that was terrible. Film like The Sin City, A Dame to Die For, that was terrible. So this is literally lightning in a bottle with this movie.
Yep. It's funny because like, this came out in 2005, and like I'm thinking about this, I'm just like, why didn't I see this in the theater? And I realized like I was in college, so I went in college 2002. So there was a block where I just didn't see movies because one, being a broke college kid, or you're just weekends and stuff like this being taken up by bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I fell off on my movie watching at that point. I'm just like, there's so many movies within like that 4.5 year period that I missed out on because I was either too broke to see him or just too busy doing some bullshit.
And those were good years for movies.
Yeah, they were. They were.
Yeah, some of them don't really hold up anymore, though. I'd be curious if we like did like an early 2000s, mid 2000s review, just because I remember this is around the time that Crash came out, and I remember when that came out, I thought that was like the best movie ever, and then I watched it like years later. I'm like, this is such a crock of shit. Like, I hate this movie.
Luda.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Luda was like a good actor because of that movie, but that's a we'll add that to the list. We'll address that later down the road. But one of the reasons why I did go to see this movie too, and I'll be fully open about this. I was really
creepy.
It's gonna get a little creepy. I was really hoping that Jessica Alba would get naked in this movie. I was really like, because she did the sexy dancing in the trailer, and I'm just like, oh, she gonna strip in this movie. I gotta see this first thing. And she kept her assless chaps on the whole time.
So sorry, Brandon.
I know, it was heartbreaking. And then also Brittany Murphy's in this too, who looks like an ex-girlfriend from high school. So there was a lot of like little elements in here that intrigued me. Also Rosario Dawson too. The woman in this movie.
Rosario Dawson.
Brittany Murphy. I think it was 4 years later. That's when she died after this film.
Yeah, man.
It's a few dead people in this movie.
Yeah.
Who else? Is Brittany
Michael
Murphy?
Clark Duncan.
Oh,
Rutger Hauer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot. I always forget Michael Clark Duncan died, man. And he was just hitting the stride. Like I didn't know he was funny until Talladega Nights, and then like he was gone like 2 years later.
Hold on. you said Bruce Willis. Damn, you just gonna say he dead or?
Well, I mean, he ain't doing well. That's what
his career's dead. Yeah. His career's dead because of his illness. But damn, you like Bruce Willis? Him dead. Him downstairs.
Well, technically, if we're going off of that, I mean, Nick Stahl's career is dead too. So, like Leonardo DiCaprio was originally up for that role, the Yellow Bastard dude.
That's weird.
Weird.
I can't even imagine it.
I would have liked it though, but that would have been really weird. Like, Yeah, because 2005, that was kind of like a weird time for him. So he was like doing like the Aviator and shit. So I think he was too much into prestige films to like be like, I'm gonna do this weird black and white comic book movie with a one dude who's just a comic book artist that Robert Rodriguez is like, you gonna direct this with me? Just like, okay, sure. But Sean, what are some of your favorite parts about this movie?
I like the look.
Okay.
And it's crazy too because I'm not really into black and white movies. It's like this and Raging Bull is like the only black and white movies I like.
Oh damn.
Um,
So you like this figure looking protagonist.
it was cool. Like I said, you never seen anything like that before. You know, like
Mm.
it was amazing. I like the nudity. It was some nice nudity in
Yeah, because when Goldie was up there doing work, I was just like, Goldie, them nipples were popping.
That was
And
that was
the other
Jamie
lady
King,
too.
right? Goldie was
I think
Jamie
it
King.
was Jamie King.
What
Was it?
happened to
Yeah.
her? She was like there for a moment, and it was like I remember it was like a bunch of blonde actresses. It was like her, Jamie Presley, and somebody else, and they were all like rotating as like the blonde bombshell in their movies. But
Yeah, she kind of just disappeared out of nowhere.
but if we're talking about boobies, real quick, we have to shout out Carla Guino, who played Marv's like parole officer, Lucille.
Yes.
She is one of the baddest chicks in Hollywood, like consistently over like decades.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember the 90s seeing her being like, she's hot. And then you saw this movie, she's like, I loved it. I remember that ass when I saw that opening night. I was like, yep. This
It
is
went
it.
it went the ass that got me. I like the front. The ass, it was kind
Oh
of
yeah.
flat.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. She doesn't jump out to me. I'm sorry, guys.
I like her
She's not the
face. She
one.
got a good face.
she got a beautiful face. She's like
Yeah,
Spanish Italian.
she's pretty woman, but like, okay. I get where we're going here.
I'm
But
just
so we're gonna spend our time objectifying these women.
no. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Look at Yulia's just like, go ahead.
This is Sin City, y'all. We gotta have a little sin. And you be in the chat just said the women are hot. This is a sexy ass cast. Besides Clive Owen's weird ass, this is a pretty sexy cast.
Besides Mickey Rourke's
true.
weird ass.
True, yeah. Mickey Rourke was
Clive Owens, they was trying to make him a star at one point. I remember, like, you could tell how they was trying to build him up at one point, but it just ain't happening.
He was in everything at one point. Yeah, it was like This Closer. He did that terrible movie with Jennifer Aniston that Justin reviewed on Patreon.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Oh, Children of Men was really good though. You put that in the chat. That was probably, but that wasn't really Clive Owen. That was more like the movie itself was just amazing. But yeah. And also, here's the thing too about this movie that was like a little tough is that like the speak easy, like, hey, we're a gangster movie kind of thing. It really doesn't hold up. Like it definitely needed a rewrite because it's clear straight from the comics.
Sometimes you can't tell if it's bad acting going on or is this is it on purpose? Sometimes it's like, is this person a bad actor or like,
I think it's just like some of the stiff dialogue because like some of it is, it's straight from the comics. And so Yellow Bastard saying all this shit, I'm like, bro, just kill everybody. Like, you don't have to be like, hey, you remember my voice? I'm just like, stab him. He's Bruce Willis. Like, just stab him a bunch of times. Then you can do whatever you want to Jessica Alba, even though don't do it because that's disturbing.
Also, Michael Madsen.
Oh, he's terrible in everything.
That's the same that Quentin Tarantino directed. I know it is because they say he was a guest director, and I guarantee that was the same.
No, he directed the scene with Benicio del Toro and Clive Owen in the car.
Oh, okay.
With the slit throat, which is a really fucking weird scene. But Michael Madsen is the reason why he did get this is through Quentin Tarantino because Robert and Quentin are really close friends. And I think it was at the Kill Bill premiere. He asked Robert Rodriguez for a role, and that was the only one that he had him fill was Marv's, not Bruce Willis's partner. And I'm like, every scene he was in, I was like, you were so bad, Michael Madsen. Like. And he gets so many opportunities.
I like Michael. I like him. He good at small doses, like real tiny doses.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You need him in small doses. You give him too much, you're just like, all right, get this guy off the screen.
But even when you get him in small, the best role he ever did was in Kill Bill 2.
Reservoir Dogs.
See, a lot of people go to Reservoir Dogs, but for me, I didn't think
I didn't think he was the guy that really held that movie together.
No, I thought, but besides the dancing, like the way he delivered the monologue wasn't very intimidating to me. Like if Tim Roth had done that monologue, that would have been fucking scary because he had that kind of intensity. I thought Kill Bill, when he was the brother, Bud or whatever the fuck, I thought that was his best role. It's like 30 minutes of Michael Madsen. That's just enough, and then he dies. And you're like, all right, cool.
Do he be in other movies that Quentin Tarantino don't direct? Like, I can't remember any movies he's been in that wasn't a Tarantino movie.
He pops up here and there in really shitty movies, but like, yeah, the last memorable role I saw him in was The Hateful Eight, which is a Quentin Tarantino movie. So
yeah.
You know, I mean, and even then, he sucked compared to the whole ensemble. And Channing Tatum was in that movie. He was bad, but they all elevated him where he was just okay. But I'm sorry, I
completely forgot that Channing Tatum was in that movie.
That was hilarious. He shot Samuel Jackson. What'd you say, Sean?
He was in that movie for 5 seconds.
Yeah. He did get to shoot off Samuel Jackson's balls, though. What did he say? He was like, "Say goodbye to your huevos." Shot him through the floorboard. But yeah, Benicio del Toro was also fucking crazy in this too.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Okay, and Josh Hartnett. I still don't know what the fuck he was doing at the beginning of the film.
Well, he's an assassin.
No, I get that, but I don't get how that kind of gels into the rest of the story.
I think that's a scene from one of the comics in Sin City, but I think that beginning. First of all, the beginning was shot as test footage for the studio to see how Robert Rodriguez would make it, and then that's why. And then I think it's supposed to have that payoff at the end with the girl from Gilmore Girls, and you know that she's going to get got. Which, by the way, I saw that actress at the airport. She's hella tall.
Really?
The BFG, like the big fucking giant, bro. She's huge.
She looked tiny in that movie.
Now, hold on, Brandon. On this podcast before, you said that somebody was really tall. And it turned out that they were 5'5". So, hella tall to you.
Jamie Lee Curtis is taller than 5'5". Don't do that.
Hold on. What's her name? Do we know her name?
Alexis Burdell or something like that?
Let's see this young lady.
She's 5'7".
Okay, she was tall. You know what?
She's 5'7".
You know, I might have been
flip flops. I don't know. I guess
might have been flip flops at the airport. You know, I'm not my full height potential. She looked tall.
In that movie, she don't look tall.
Yeah, she don't look tall in that movie.
Oh.
You know, but Jamie Lee Curtis, she's like 6'8", right, Brandon?
It's not my fault. I don't know how measurements work. So Benicio del Toro wearing like that crazy mask, that was actually his idea. Based on UVS research. Yeah, it was like Robert Rodriguez didn't want to do that, but he was like, no, I'm going to do this because I'm Benicio del Toro. I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah, whatever.
He still look like Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. That's the weird thing is Quentin Tarantino was like, he looks so unrecognizable. I'm like, no, he looked Benicio del Toro with a fake nose on.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we talking about?
He still subtly looks like a Neanderthal. It doesn't matter.
Yo, that was crazy though when Clive Owen put his face in the toilet after he peed.
And the cigarette still in his mouth.
Yeah. Oh God. And then he just had piss water over his like long hair and shit. I'm like, yo, he should smell so bad. And then how did Clive Owen just disappear? Like he's fucking Batman.
Well, he was out on the ledge, just standing there.
I mean, there were some crazy moments in this movie. Like when Marv jumps into that cop car and like is okay. He jumps with his he jumps in the air.
Yeah, with his feet out. like some straight up fucking Three Stooges shit. Like that was crazy. Like so like
about Marv dragging that guy by his face outside the car.
Yeah, but look what the fuck. All right, so all of these characters were superheroes, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, people were flipping over. Miho was flipping over and like slicing motherfuckers' heads off and shit. Like you got Clive Owen who was just doing all kinds of crazy shit, and then of course Marv who needed 2 electric shocks in the chair to finally get out.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, who there's no way they would have been able to fix his heart. I don't know why he believed that story because he got shot.
He didn't age.
Oh yeah, that's also he didn't age. He was in prison for 8 years, didn't age not one day. But also the fact is that if we're doing the math here, at the beginning he was 68. At the end, I mean, at the beginning he was 60. So at the end he's 68, and so he's supposedly a 60-year-old man, 68-year-old man, hooking up with an 18-year-old.
Well, he wasn't trying to hook up with her. She's the one who like pursued him when he was at. But that was so funny though. He was like, "Don't look at me, Nancy. Don't look at me." And then he looks back at her like, "She's gonna see."
He looks back at her with his dick in his hand. Oh no!
Jesus Christ! That was crazy.
And then she jumps off the stage and runs and kisses him, and she's just like, "Oh, I've been waiting for it." First of all, if he wasn't trying to fuck, why would he engage her in that kiss? You know what I'm saying? And then they go back, and then they're back at they're whoever her place, whatever, little hideout, they're sitting there, and she's coming on to him. He's like, "No, it's wrong," and she's like, "No, I'm sorry, she's 19." And she's like, basically, she's been wet for this dude for the last 8 years. That's why she wrote him all of these fucking letters. And now is her opportunity. Now they can fuck. And then he's like, no, but I can't do it. It's wrong. But I love you. But I love you too. And then they start kissing. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening here?
Well, yeah, it was very this is before True Detective. But yeah, there's like a weird thing that Hollywood does where like these old white cops save these little girls, and then when they're older, they start fucking them. Because that's what happened.
Yeah.
He saved that little girl, and then later on, she got older, and she was like, "I want you to fuck me all the ways." And Woody Harrelson's like, "Oh, do 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 do."
I'm like, whoa! It's like that's a whole different kind of grooming.
Yeah, I mean, Yellow Bastard. First of all, if this whole family is corrupt, right? How come they weren't able to find Nancy? She's still in Sin City, which is fucking nuts that she would stay there.
Mm-hmm.
You would stay in the city that you were abducted, and the government covered it up.
Yep.
Like, it's wild. So Nicole in the chat's asking, so if they do a sequel to Man on Fire, Dakota and Denzel getting down, I mean,
Denzel's downstairs in that movie at the end.
Yeah, he
is. But
that'd be crazy if he resurrected himself.
He's like,
where's that
gotta fuck a white girl? But yes, I guess because that was early 2000s as well.
Yep.
That movie. So most likely, he would have probably ended up taking Dakota Fanning's character into Pound Town at the end. That's crazy. This is crazy.
Now, Sean, this movie is broken up into 3 different stories. You got the Mickey Rourke Marv story. You got the Clive Owen, where he's trying to help the sex workers fight against killing a cop and shit like that. And then you have the Bruce Willis story that kind of bookends everything. What was your favorite story of the movie?
I remember, it's still kind of the same now. When I first seen the movie, I liked the Marv story the most. Like that was like the most action-packed and coolest one to me.
Got it. Okay. You even liked Elijah Wood with the long nails, who was fucking like kung fuing him and shit.
That was real cool to me. I remember too. Like that was wild to me.
That was so crazy. I'm like, he looked creepier than he usually does. Elijah was a creepy motherfucker. I was like, why would you do this, Elijah? Like, you already got the Frodo shit. Now you got the creepy pedophile cannibal thing going on.
He looked very Harry Potter in this.
He has a movie. He plays a serial killer, and the whole movie is through the point of view of the serial killer. It's really good, but it's a crazy. I can't even remember the name of the movie, but he plays a serial killer.
You got to find that one. We got to put it on the list.
Yeah,
really serial killer.
Like literally, you watching him kill people through his eyes.
You know, it'd be wild if it was like a secret sequel to The Good Son. Like the whole time worried about Macaulay Culkin, but he's actually the one that like everyone should have been worried about.
Everything goes back to The Good Son.
Hey man, that's a wild, memorable movie, man.
I don't know how many times you've referenced that film.
I would love to get so many times. Here. He's like, I thought we were here to talk about Lord of the Rings. I'm like, yeah, but let's talk about The Good Son real quick. Well, you were working with Macaulay. Anyway, Sean, what was your least favorite story of the 3?
Probably the Clive Owen story. Like that one got real wonky. for me.
Yeah, it dragged on too long. That's how I felt. I felt like it was not as tight, and then it was just kind of crazy. Like he was like at first hooking up with Brittany Murphy, now he's fucking Rosario because they got history, and then the whole thing. I mean, the Michael Clark Duncan slapping everybody and they go flying. That just looks so bad.
Speaking of that, a lot of women got punched in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of women getting slapped around. This was very like noir type of film. Naps, yeah.
back then it wasn't illegal.
Yeah,
but there was no like M bombs dropped. There's a few brown people in this movie. I would have expected some racism as well. On top of the
but that's because Quentin Tarantino didn't have full reign over this film. That's why.
Yeah. If he had been able to do a rewrite,
he had that one scene in the car. He's just like, okay, so how many times can I say nigger in this scene? They're like, there are no. It's like, oh, okay, fuck it, okay.
He's like, hey, Benicio or Clive, would one of y'all be willing to say it? Just like completely unrelated? Like, no.
Can one of you just say it to me in my ear so I can get off at night?
Jesus Christ. I think my favorite story was the Bruce Willis one, just because I did like the Yellow Bastard, like how he just fucking destroys that dude. Like when he's a human, he shoots off his hand and he shoots him in the balls. And so he's yellow because he's jaundiced, right?
No, he's yellow. He's yellow because of all of the things that they did to him to try to give him his balls back and things like that. So basically, it's they experimented. They did a lot of experimental surgeries and shit just to try to put him back together.
Okay. Am I wrong? I get Sin City is a fucked up place, right? You wouldn't want to go there if you knew the way. But am I wrong in saying, like, if the Yellow Bastard goes anywhere, one, he's gonna smell, and two, he's yellow. Like, niggas should be like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah. The only person that's in color.
Should be like the Wizard of Oz looking at that motherfucker. And he's got the bald head and shit, the big nose. He's got a pot belly for some reason.
Yeah, he looked wild. He looked wild. He kind of had the body of Damon Wayans from A Great White Hype.
Oh Jesus, that's very accurate though. I mean, when Bruce Willis rips off his yellow balls, I was like, Jesus,
that was Christ. Too much. That was too much.
Yeah, nothing's gonna hurt a man more than seeing somebody's balls get ripped off in a film.
Yeah, that was rough. I was eating some popcorn when that scene happened. I was just like, oh Lord. Good thing I was at the bottom of the barrel because that's like the last 20 minutes. But I mean,
especially because they're yellow, just like his balls.
I would have done the same thing too, though. He was in jail for 8 years getting the shit beat out of him because this corrupt family or whatever. One's a cardinal, the other's a fucking senator. I'm like, but it should be well known that these niggas are like involved in pedophilia and like murders of women and shit like that. It's not a secret in the town.
I mean, Brandon, there are literal people in our country in real life that are involved in pedophilia and things like that, and nothing ever happens to them.
Very true.
If you're powerful enough, you can get away with.
Were they all
Unfortunately, so. Huh?
Are they all Scientologists? Like,
no, they're in the government, bro. Like, why are you acting like this shit ain't real? Like
don't talk about Scientologists, man. They scary.
I know. I believe the Scientologists are what sit down Kwame Kilpatrick.
nigga. You know Scientology is real when they got a fucking place up in the goddamn in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? They ain't scared of nobody.
Yeah, that's what I knew. It was a ride.
They got a building in Detroit.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I told you. I'm L. Ron Hubbard. He took Kwame out. He was like, "Hey, you want to get some of these ladies at your house? It's all good, babe." That's what they do. Is apparently they get rich famous people to like join their thing, and then they blackmail them through their therapy. So then they can use that shit against you. Like John Travolta, they got all of his fucking skeletons in a storage closet.
Those skeletons everybody know about now, though.
So
yeah, but you peep that nothing happened with that though. It died out real quick because that's the power that he and Tom Cruise have with that shit.
Yeah.
But by the time it came out, like if it came out in the 90s, it'd have been a wrap for him. Like,
yeah,
it came out when everybody's more accepting and like everybody, let people live in their truths.
Yeah.
Well, also it's because like John Travolta wasn't like the John Travolta of the 90s anymore, or like the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So John Travolta already did Mamma Mia. He already started looking like an Italian mother, in his daily life. So at that point, it was over. So like people didn't care as much. It's like, yeah, okay, somebody he needs people to jack him off while he's getting massages. That makes sense.
Jesus Christ. What are we talking about?
Scientology, baby.
So yeah, Sin City, it's like hard to like break it down because there's these three different stories. And even though they're all revolving, I mean, they all kind of revolve around Marv. He's kind of like the central dude that pops up in each story, kind of. Because at that bar with where Nancy's at. Because that's what we first see Marv going to.
Yeah.
Then we have like Clive Owen pops up there. Then Bruce Willis pops up there. So Marv is kind of like the central figure in all this, even though he dies at the beginning.
Well, he dies in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, time is a paradox. It doesn't matter. And these are black and white characters. I mean, did Bruce Willis give a good performance in this?
I think he's okay for Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis never give a strong performance.
Yeah, it's true.
He is Die Hard is the best thing that Bruce Willis has ever done.
You don't like Hudson Hawk?
What's that?
Hudson Hawk?
Hudson Hawk? That's a horrible movie.
Isn't that with Kate Hudson? Oh, no, not Kate Hudson.
No.
Goldie Hawn, right?
I can't remember if she was in it, but he's playing like a jewel thief. He got clowned for that movie because that movie was awful.
Okay. I mean, he's done some bad. He's done some bad.
Like and Yuvia mentioned The Sixth Sense, but like The Sixth Sense, I would say that The Kid was the best thing about that film, and it wasn't Bruce Willis.
He was solid in it though. I remember being surprised by Bruce Willis in that. Like he was pretty decent. It was probably it's probably his best dramatic performance, I would say.
I mean, I couldn't get past the toupee.
Well, I mean, you just have a thing with hair. I don't know what it is.
Well, I mean that weird rug they had on his head was crazy.
Well, I just thought that's how white dude's hair looked. I thought white dude's hair looked like that.
Yeah, everybody looks like Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
I didn't care too much for like you said, Sean, the Clive Owen story. I thought there were some parts that were entertaining, but like I remember Brittany Murphy, like I think in UVA's research, like she filmed for a day. I'm like, I could tell. Like, yeah, you could tell that she was like separate.
She was bad in that movie.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. But Rosario Dawson was great too, though. And that's the thing too, is like I felt bad because all the women are very like they're shot very well, but then they all get murdered, like except for like the Rosario gang. But even some of them got. You know what I mean? I was like,
well, no, not all of them. I guess not all the working girls pretty much survived. If you really think about it, except Goldie and
Becky.
Yeah,
that's the white girl's name.
So like, those only ones that got murdered.
I was trying to figure out how people would survive in bomb blasts and grenade blasts.
Well, that's a whole nother.
Well, yeah. I mean, the one dude gets shot with an arrow in his chest. And he's like, "Oh, well, look at that," and he's talking for 2 more minutes.
And then it goes through his head, and he's just like, "Oh man, like what?"
Yeah, I did like his line though, where he was like, "Oh, kill these women." He's like, "I knew there's a reason I got up today." Like, that was a funny line, but it was like so fucked up. Yeah, there's like some parts that are like really great, and then you're like, "But what is this all leading to?" Like, I remember feeling empty after I watched this the other day.
One problem is the movie about 50 minutes too long. Like they can cut a good 50 minutes of this movie and it'd be a better movie.
You said 50 or 15?
50. 45. I'll be like, 45 minutes. This movie was long.
He said, "Yo, cut this motherfucker in half."
Yo, Sean, you know that would put this at the length of like the Great Mouse Detective from Disney and shit. It's like 70 minutes.
40 minutes. Cut 40 minutes out. This movie was too long for what it was doing. Like, I'm like, yo, this needs to be off right now. Like, it was still long. Like,
I did because you know what I think the aesthetics of the film and it's a beautiful film and things like that. But after a while, that does wear off, and then you're left with the story. And if the story's not strong, you're kind of just like, what am I watching this thing for? and like midway in, I was just like, okay, so is this going somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Is like when I watched in the theater, I just remember being like visually just like so stimulated that I didn't really care too much about the story or the acting. And now removed from it, watching it at home like we did, it's kind of like the visuals can only carry it so far. And that's also because we've been seeing a lot of really good original movies, right? And so, or even like good comic book adaptations, and it's just kind of like, oh, a lot of this didn't hold up. You know, like Michael Clark Duncan torturing Rosario Dawson was one of the weirdest scenes I've ever seen in my life. Like he's touching her head. It's like he's touching her face softly, but she's like, and it's like bones crunching and shit. And you're like, what? Like, who's directing who in this? Like, what's going on? It's very bizarre. Also, sorry.
Can I say that Michael, I'm gonna fuck up his name. I always
Michael
do.
Clark Duncan.
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan.
Green Mile, like just disgracing.
Yeah, when Green Mile nigga. No, Michael Clark Duncan. Well, you know what? I wasn't to disparage this man's name anyway, so it didn't really matter. Kind of slavish. That character kind of slavish.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
When is he slavish?
What?
When is he not slavish though? When is Michael Clark Duncan not slavish in movies? What movie was he not slavish
Talladega
in?
Nights. Talladega Nights.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good answer, Brandon. But he was kind of slavish.
What'd you say, Sean?
Don't wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was kind of slavish.
Okay, I think we need to define what slavish is, because Justin, you be throwing that shit out willy-nilly. You know what I mean? Like, technically, we could say, if based on your definition thus far of examples of slavish, you and I are slavish in our films that we've done. You know what I mean?
Wait, how am I slavish?
You and the Stephen King shit where you were like, "Ooh, we gonna get some chicken." I'm dancing.
Nah, hold on, no, that's not slavish. I'm coonish. I was coonish in that film. I wasn't slavish. I was cooning, my friend.
I watched that movie. I'm gonna finish it one day, but I did start watching it.
I'm sorry to everybody who watched You Can't Kill Stephen King. That is a problem. That was a problem.
Okay, so then in Green, I was slavish. I wasn't coonish, right? I was slavish.
No. Yeah, you seem like you just came out of a bush or something. You know what I'm saying? You were like hiding in a hole behind a bush. You were just like, which way north? You know what I'm saying? Like mine was coonish. That's slavish. What Michael Clark Duncan in this film, what he was doing, it almost seemed like he was just like boss said that I need to bring you in on the boss because you boy, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like we gonna eat grits for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that's what boss is giving us. You know what I'm saying? That's what Michael Clark Duncan was giving me in this film.
And he had the gold eye and shit. He looked crazy.
Yes, the gold eye. Because Master thumbed that shit out on him. He scooped it out with his thumb.
Wait, he didn't look like Guile. He looked like, what was Raul Julia's character?
Bison?
Bison. He looked like Bison. But he
looked like Bison mixed with the Golden Child. No, what he was wearing.
That was a stretch there.
Yeah, leave me alone.
I get what you mean. Not all shots are gonna get.
Hey man, they're not all gonna hit. It's okay.
No. But yeah, this movie is fucking nuts, man. But like I said, it was like it was a moment in time when this was a hit. You know, like when something like this could be a hit, because this was a pretty modest budget. It was like $40 million, but it made over 150 million in its run. It did well. I remember I saw it at a sold out theater. I think I was the only one that really enjoyed it though.
This film was definitely a hit. it was a huge hit. Like people loved this film. Like people always talked about it. Like, you know, like, oh, did you catch Sin City? It was always a movie that people reference. But I think it was mainly because it was so aesthetically pleasing, and the way it was shot, it was great. Other than that, I never heard somebody talk about, yo, Sin City was like one of the best written films I've ever watched.
My younger self definitely enjoyed it more than my older self did. Like it's a completely different viewpoint when I watched it. It was still good, but I enjoyed it a lot more when I was younger. 20 years ago, I enjoyed it a lot more.
I mean, it's almost 20 years ago. Holy fuck.
Yeah, bro.
No, time is not
old, baby.
Time is not our friend. Nicole in the chat said, I remember I loved it, but now it's dog shit. The comic book is great. Yeah, the comic book is cool, but it's like, it's the same like as the Walking Dead comics. Like if you read the comics, it's like really fucked up. Like there's no real entertainment value. It's just like brutal from start to finish. Like, because in the comics, the yellow bastard's like whipping Nancy. Like he's like getting, like he's fucking her up. Right? It's like,
well, I mean, he is whipping her in this movie. But it was he has a fucking whip.
But it was like really graphic, and his dick was all out and shit. It was wild.
Wait a second. You know, I just thought about. He done gave Nancy the bloody back in this film. He's hitting her with a fucking whip.
Mm-hmm.
So her back, after this film, her back looks like dudes from Emancipation.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
But that's
didn't cry.
Yeah, and then didn't cry. She's like Denzel and Glory. Just
how do you do that? I try to do the one tier thing. That's so hard. Have you
gotta yawn a little bit? You gotta yawn and keep your mouth closed when you yawn.
That's what Denzel's technique is.
I can see Denzel.
What if you just put a?
So how did you get that one tier? Well, I actually yawned. You got to yawn a little bit, okay? So when you're thinking about it, you got to yawn. You got to get that yawn out there, and then that one tear just starts to trail.
It'd be funny if it was more basic than that. He's like, I put a slice of lemon on my right side, and I just squeeze real hard. Put it in my mouth, and I just suck that juice out.
Why
would it make you cry? Why would it make you cry?
Because it's so bitter. You know?
Nigga, you're gonna have to put lemon in his eyes. It was like we would have saw it, Brandon.
Yeah, he looked like Popeye. It just eyes gouging.
I noticed Brandon, he always makes stuff get weirdly sexual. Like he always gets sexual.
There's nothing sexual about him.
No, it sounded weird.
He's like, he just started sucking on that lemon. Just sucking on a lemon. He on one side, you just having that side, he was just sucking, just gnawing on that motherfucker. I was like, Brandon. It's so juicy and so supple.
Just trying to distract him.
Okay.
So we can stop making fun of me. And I don't know, man. I mean, did y'all see Sin City: A Dame to Die For, the follow-up to this?
Yeah, horrible.
No.
It's really bad. Like this is bad, but that's like even worse though.
Yeah, it is.
But I think oh, sorry.
Frank Miller directed that movie too. I think he directed it like
by himself. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Frank Miller, he took on some new responsibilities that he probably should have just let alone. Also, I remember A Dame to Die For had Eva Gray, and I remember people tried to make her happen for a long time. Like I remember, like a lot of people were like, "Oh, she was so good in Casino Royale." I'm like, I think she was the worst thing in that. I think she's one of the worst Bond girls ever. Like she had a good story arc, but I thought the actress was really like.
I like Eva Gray.
I don't know, man.
I gotta look her up. I don't even know who that is.
Wasn't she in 300? The sequel to 300 as well?
The sequel to 300, which is also bad.
She was real good. She was good in that, man. She was sexy.
Well, just because you're sexy doesn't mean you're good at acting.
I like it. Because I like the performance.
When I'm writing a script, I'm not like, yo, they don't need to act, bro. They just gotta be sexy.
It works. It works sometimes. Sometimes.
I mean, Brandon.
What?
We've listened to, our fans have listened to some of the reviews and listened to you talking about these white starlets. Let's not front, man. Let's not front. We know who you are.
If somebody's sexy, I will say they're sexy. You know what I mean? Like, I'll talk about man, woman, a CGI character. I'll talk about it. It's not just white starlets. I talk about everybody.
Okay.
I don't discriminate, man. I grew up in a very diverse environment where I was meant to be open-minded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So everything got your dick hard, right?
Bro, I grew up. I tell you this. I grew up watching Designer Woman, Murphy Brown, Rugrats. I watched the gambit of shit. So yeah, I'm gonna be attracted to some weird shit, bro.
So who on Rugrats attracted you, Brandon?
Time to call police.
Reflection. That wasn't the best example to get. I'm talking about my hormones. Should have gone like Boy Meets World and shit like that, but I fucked up.
Was it Chucky? Was it Chucky? Oh God.
Oh jeez. Okay. Well, Justin, on that note, before we get to our ratings with Sean, we did get some Patriot thoughts on Sin City. And remember, folks, if you sign up for Patreon at patreon.com/mediumpopcorn, you will get your comments or mini review read on that show. Jeffrey McKinney wrote, one of my favorite movies, most comic accurate movie I can remember seeing. Quentin Tarantino directed The Car Ride with Jackie Boy and Dwight. Makes me laugh every time. R.I.P. Michael Clark Duncan, Rucker Hauer, and Powers Booth. Oh, that's right. He died too.
Oh, dang. He was gone too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Jay Brooks. I started smoking weed the year this movie came out. Base a joint and rent this for a weekend for Blockbuster. 15-year-old can't have a better time. Fair enough. Blockbuster Video, y'all. Remember those days?
Yep, I love them. Yep.
If you didn't rewind, they charged you 25. What'd you say, Sean?
Those prices is crazy when you really think about it. What they was charging back.
Oh yeah, they were charging you money for not rewinding this shit. I'm like,
yeah,
how the audacity? You know what I mean? All right, well that didn't go anywhere. So
the audacity.
Strawfire 71 wrote, this film got me into graphic novels. Great cast, dark story told in such a visual way that it sits with you a long time after the credits roll. I agree with that. I got into graphic novels kind of around this time too, because of this movie. And then TPFN wrote, probably Rodriguez's best film. And I say that as a huge fan of the Mariachi trilogy and From Dusk Till Dawn. Oh, you did do From Dusk Till Dawn. Okay. Only film of his to really utilize his love of semi-questionable visual effects as a perfect fit. Top tier cast, Alba's most iconic moment, my personal favorite of Elijah Wood's post Frodo against type roles, and damn, Clive Owen is impossibly cool here. Love Josh Brolin, but never understood the Dwight recast in the sequel because Clive Owen didn't want to go back for it. And then wrote an all-timer of a trailer or two with instrumental from The Servants Cells. To this day, one of the most perfect marketing cue drops ever. I agree with that. Because that's what got me excited. When that shit kicked in at the car crash in the trailer, and then just like the quick scenes of the A-list cast, I was like, oh, I'm all in. And you got Jessica Alba shaking her ass, I'm in. Opening night, baby.
Even though at the moment I saw Jessica Alba dancing, I started thinking of Honey. And I was just like, immediately soured me.
The opening of Honey and the opening of Step Up 4 are some of the most offensive dancing scenes in cinema history.
Hold on one second. What movie you said Step Up 4?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed. I thought it was one movie.
No, there's like 5 of them. And there's a TV series and shit. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Was that the one with Hayden Panettiere?
No, that's Bring It On.
Oh, that's Bring It On. It's all the same shit to me. I mean, when she starts crumping like that shit, I'm like, that's probably the most offensive dance scene ever.
Oh yeah, that's up there. That's definitely up there.
But that and Honey is they're fighting. They're fighting.
We should probably consider doing a dance month. I think we could have some fun with dance movies. But yeah, we already did Honey. We don't need to revisit that because that opening club scene with the everyone's getting hyped for that whack ass dancing. I'm like, this is offensive to the Bronx. It's offensive to just the senses. It doesn't make any sense. But
hi, my name is Honey.
All right, Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. So, guys, we rate movies bags of popcorn. Small.
Let's call you baby.
Yeah, stop it. Again, stop calling me baby. You're trying to sneak it in there. Guys, we rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and stop calling me baby, Brandon. Small, medium, large, and the XL40 exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile, where we pile piles and piles of dog shit on top of it. So we sat down and watched the 2005 film Sin City, starring Bruce Willis, Elijah Wood, Mickey Rourke, Clive Owen, Brittany Murphy, Benicio del Toro, and Jessica Alba. So, Sean, what say you, sir?
I want to give it large, and I'm gonna give it, but I can't because it was too long. I'm gonna have to give it a medium.
Okay.
Okay. Any particular reason for the medium instead of a
Like I
large?
said, it's a beautiful film, but it was extremely long. It felt way longer than it should have been. Like I'm like, this movie don't have to be this long because there's not enough important scenes in this movie for this movie to be this long.
You said cut 50 minutes. You like half the movie.
I can't believe it. I was like, yo, this movie's still on, and I kept on pausing it. I'm like, oh my god.
Fair enough.
Brandon?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a small. Back in 2005, I probably would have given this a large. But yeah, this gets a small. This is a chore to get through. Besides some key like visuals.
Brandon?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Brandon froze. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna also give it a small. I think it's again, beautiful film, and that's without a shadow of a doubt. It's just it didn't give me enough to make me like want to watch this again and again and again. It's just it's and mind you, like I don't think I've seen this full movie until I watched this just last night. If that's like my first time like fully watching it all the way through, and yeah, the visuals grabbed me, but like the story was just so all over the place. I was like, I can't with this. It was also just kind of boring.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those you had to be there. At that moment, it was great. It was back then,
Yeah.
It was great. But now we've seen so much quality movies, so many visually stunning movies. Now it's like,
Yeah. Brandon, welcome back.
Yeah, how much of my rant did y'all hear? Because I was just talking.
No, not much.
Did you hear my rating at least?
Nope.
Oh, damn. Okay, so
no. You said you gave it a small.
Yeah, give it a small. If it was 2005, I would have given it a large. But it's a different world, and attractive cast can't save this shit for me.
Nope.
That because the story just wasn't there. The acting was mad inconsistent. I thought that. Ironically, Clive Owen probably gave the best performance because it seemed like he and Mickey Rourke really knew what this movie was supposed to be, and they played as such, whereas everyone else kind of felt, I don't think Robert Rodriguez can really direct. That's my honest opinion. I think he's a good visual director, but I don't think he knows how to act good performances, and get that out of the sound that he gets, just because I think about the Spy Kid series. I think about the Boba Fett series that he was behind. I'm thinking about all these things. And I'm like, the one consistent between all of his projects is that they visually are beautiful. The other consistent thing is the performances are usually terrible. Like he got a bad performance out of Mahershala Ali in that Alita movie. Like that's how he's doing something wrong.
I like that movie a lot.
It's decent, but the performances are all over the place though. That's another example. But that's just my take on it. Justin, you gave your rating, right? So
yes, indeed, I did.
Yeah, I lost time. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. But Sean, please tell our listeners how they can follow you, and thank you again for being such a supporter of the show and being our first fan to join us on a full episode.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. I'm very honored. Like I said, I love you guys' show. Keep up the good work. You can find me on Twitter. That's at Sean the Terrible, and that's it.
Y'all can follow me at American Collins, AmericanCollins.com. You can follow the show, Medium P Podcast, on all social media platforms. And be sure to go to youtube.com/Medium Popcorn, push that subscribe button so you get alert about all future episodes and reviews, as well as celebrity interviews and all that good stuff. And Justin, if people want to follow you and support the show financially, what can they do, baby?
Stop calling me baby. That's the first thing you can do. But you can also follow me at J Brown Did It on the socials. And you can also support the show by going to patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, $15 packages on there. So we have the rant, what am I watching, backlogs, are in bonus episodes. So if you love the show, that's where you go to support the show. And if you want to, support us a little bit more, you can go to tpublic.com/medium popcorn, grab yourself some swag. Swag.
Swagalicious, put it in your mouth. It's delicious. All right, everybody. This is a weird episode. This is wild.
The AP shirt.
Yeah. Looking like I work at a grocery store.
The old grocery store brand.
I walked around Ralph's today with the sweater, and somebody thought I worked there. Even though
that person's just a dummy.
But you can't see the back of the sweater. The back of the sweater, because I told you I got this from like a press kit for this movie called White Movies. On the back, it literally says this movie is directed by Noah Baumbach and shit. Like it says the cast on the back. Like Adam Driver's on my back.
Yeah, but people don't see the back of you when they think that they see A and B.
They see A and P, and then they see the beard and the black skin. They're like, "You definitely work here, sir."
He looked like he acted on the Cosby Show, and he's down on his luck.
Oh Jesus, Justin! There you go, folks. Media popcorn being blasphemous as always. Don't sue us, sir. Yeah, that's our show. Thank you so much, Sean, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And folks, sign up for Patreon so you get an opportunity also to potentially join Justin and I on a full episode in the future, because that's going to become a perk on Patreon. All right, little biscuits. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.
Peace.